Yep, we're live. Says you're live. See there?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Now we're on YouTube. I'll just say hey to everybody. We're on our way, as the title said, to the race in Charlotte,
Drag race.
drag race, NHRA race. This is one of my best.
Z-Max.
ZMAX race.
Dragway.
Yeah. I'm here with one of my best friends for most of my life, Jerry Richardson. Not to be confused with the Jerry Richardson that owned the Carolina Panthers.
Once in trouble.
Well, yeah, he's in trouble. You're not in trouble. Yeah. Anyway, Jerry and I go way back. We used to be switchers on the yard at Carolina Freight Carriers back started in the 60s and on into the 70s. I left in 1980. Jerry left a little bit before me on that. He went into business for himself, running a service station and a body shop and used cars and everything else. Jerry's trucking, mailman, everything else. Jerry did a lot of stuff independent for about 15 or 16 years after he left Carolina Freight. And then I coerced him to come back to work for me, and he was my first driver in 1987, 88, came to work for me with our RPS trucks.
Pulling doubles.
Yep, pulling doubles. Yeah, pulling doubles with RPS. We were running the routes from Hickory to Kernersville and back every night, and then wherever else they wanted us. Jerry was my main driver for a few years, and then he was able to get his own contract. Was it 2.5 years? About 2.5 years. And then he got his own contract with RPS and started in Charlotte when Charlotte was still just a local terminal. And then he moved on and went down to Kernersville to get into the line haul again, because Charlotte at that time was primarily a local terminal. He worked and line haul at night, and it was really, really overwhelming. So he decided to move to Kernersville. And you stayed with John Linville?
Yeah, I stayed there. I had a room.
He rented a room from John Linville, and now a lot of people won't know who John Linville is, but tell them who John Linville is.
He's Delana.
He's Delana Harvick's.
Kevin Harvick's wife.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's.
John was John Linville's.
John Linville
was.
He was a building contractor, and he raced race cars. He had dirt track racing and
mostly
round track. Well, whatever, you know.
Grand National, late model.
And he did that on the side.
Saturday's run.
Yeah, he was like a lot of us.
The Saturday division in NASCAR.
Right.
He did good.
Yep. Yeah, John was a good man.
Very good man.
And he and Jerry were friends before that, and they got to be better friends.
I met him at the racetrack.
Yeah.
Hickory. That's where I met him.
You met him at Hickory Motor Speedway. But like I said, and that's where I guess we're kind of telling Delana Harvick's background a little bit too. She grew up in that background, so Delana, she knew racing from the time she was born, probably.
I don't know when.
John, I think, was racing probably from the time Delana was born on up, and then so she was acclimated to racing and everything. Grew up as a teenager, and of course, she was just a teenager back then, or younger, wasn't she?
I think she was in college.
Well, she was in. No, I think she was still a teenager, still in high school, wasn't she?
Probably. I never asked.
Yeah, I think she was still in. She was still
in school.
Yeah, she was still in school. I think she was still in high school when you were down there renting that apartment. Yeah. Anyway, but little would we have known that she would go on and marry Kevin Harvick a few years later. But that's the way life is. You never know what people will develop into or what they will be and everything.
I hung around with race car shop up here that John had.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, Jerry's been a racer for a number of years. That's the reason when I got the tickets from Napa, Jerry and I have gone to races together for the last 50 years. I mean, we'd go to World 600 or Coca-Cola 600, I think is what it's been called in the last so many years.
We had the interview.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I used to own a newspaper and a radio station, and I did some interviews and got into pits good and did some interviews and did an article on Humpy Wheeler, and then of course we met all the old drivers back then: David Pearson, Kel Yarborough, Richard Petty, and that's back when the track was really way more accessible. I mean, you could go up and actually sit around and talk with these drivers. The pits back then was a little small covered area down there that looked like I'll say Shoney's, but most people won't even know what Shoney's is now. It was just like a little drive-through, and that's what the pits were back then. They had a covered area, and the drivers would just pull their cars under them and work on them. This was the old days. This is old racing we're talking about. This is racing from the 60s and 70s. So it had a lot different
it was
appearance.
Good racing back then.
Oh, it's great racing. Great racing.
Not to say it's not good now.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It was more personal, I guess you might say. Now it's more corporate. Back then the sponsorships weren't as prevalent as they are today. And I mean, that being said, I mean, here we are going with a Napa event ourselves today. It's corporate. It's a corporate world, and so it really is a whole different mindset today from what it was years ago. But you know, we still enjoy it, and we still enjoy our trucking and everything. I'm still enjoying it. Jerry, let me get back to this. To kind of fill in some blanks for me too. People have been wondering how I've got larger in the trucking business. Jerry's one reason, because Jerry went on, and after he left Kernersville, he's like me. We both had our trucks down at Kernersville for a short while, and we both knew of the opportunity that they were building a new hub in Charlotte. So in the early 90s, I think about 92, 93.
92.
Yeah, they opened up a new hub in Charlotte. Well, that gave Jerry and myself an opportunity to get back down here closer to where we live and not have to travel so far to, get our trucks, worked on and everything else, and get drivers. And at that time, they let us expand to 3 trucks. I was already up to 3 trucks. Jerry, I think, had 2 maybe by that time.
I had 1 when I went to Charlotte.
You had 1 at Charlotte, and then
Charlotte started.
Okay, and then he was able to put on 2 more while they helped us at 3 trucks. And of course, back then the bidding process and everything else, it was based on seniority, and then everything was kind of enlarging. They were growing with leaps and bounds. So they were adding new contractors, and new opportunities came up, and we were able to grow at a fast pace. Of course, like I said, we were helped to 3 trucks. So Jerry was able to get up to 3 trucks fairly quick, and he had 3 trucks until, like me, until they let us go up to 5 trucks. And they didn't do that until the late 90s. They let us expand up to 5 trucks, and continue on, and to kind of make let you know where we're at on this. Jerry's, well, I guess I can tell your age, can't I? Jerry's 10 years older than me.
Yes,
he doesn't look it though, does he? He's
yes,
like,
I do too.
I always tell him he's the oldest teenager I've ever met, because Jerry always he's young at heart, young in mind, and he loves stuff. He loves cars. He's a gearhead, and he tells me not to say anything about being a gearhead, but he is. I won't go on to the list of cars he's got, but he's a gearhead. And whoops, dropped my other phone here. But you know, getting back to the trucking part, Jerry, I'm about to mispronounce your name. Jerry continued on with RPS, and then it turned into FedEx, and FedEx changed the rules of the way they're doing. See, back then RPS, whatever we had, we had. When we wanted to get out, you just got out. You weren't able to control your business like you wanted to. Well, FedEx was a little smarter with that. They decided they were going to let us buy other contractors out. So about 12 or 13 years ago, it was in the early 2000s, I guess 2004 or 5, something like that. They started letting contractors buy other contractors, and that way it gave you an opportunity to get out as you felt like you needed to retire or whatever, and you were able to get some worth out of your company. And that's what I started doing that early on. I found an opportunity to buy some other contractors, and I bought a couple out, and I grew my business and grew within the ranks of FedEx, and at that time, you know, we were able to hold the seniority and everything like we wanted to, and you know, so whoever you bought, whatever seniority they had, you retained their runs and all that. Well, Jerry and I both kept growing, I guess you might say, within the ranks, and then they had a split where they opened up the Kernersville hub again back in the I can't remember exactly when it was, 2005 maybe. I'm not sure either. Anyway, they or maybe later than that, 2007 or something. But they opened up new runs at the hub in Greensboro or Kernersville again. It's a new hub. So Jerry and I both, when the bidding process came down, they put all the bids together, lumped all the drivers and contractors together, and you basically bidded on what run you wanted at the time, whether it's a Charlotte run, a Greensboro run, or whatever. So we both bidded, and we both ended up getting runs in both locations, because what we tried to do was get the best run, because we wanted to, well, I wanted to experiment with it. In some ways I wish I hadn't, and I guess in some ways Jerry wished he hadn't at the time too, but we decided that, you know, there were only going to be a limited amount in Charlotte, and we're afraid they were going to deplete the good runs quickly. So we you know, I think we all put our heads together and got the best runs that we could. Well, move forward a little bit, a few years later, after, you know, some of us has already started buying other contractors up and things like that, Jerry and I got together. How many years has it been now? When was that? About 7 years, 6, 7 years ago?
2013.
2013. Yeah, well, 2013, Jerry says. I can't remember exactly. Jerry decided, he and I talked about him retiring, and he not retiring. He's not retired. I know. I'm not gonna put him in the retire. He decided to sell. He decided to sell his FedEx trucks. Jerry will never retire. Jerry stays busy all the time with his body shop and used cars, and got his own little.
I wouldn't call it retirement, because there's more to do than you ever had.
Yeah, now you're busier than you were, aren't you?
Well, there's a lot to do.
Lots to do, and Jerry's the type that does not sit down. He does stay busy. Like I said, he's young at heart. But anyway, on the FedEx side, Jerry sold me his five routes, 5 trucks, and that expanded me even more. So And then I bought a few others since then too. But you know, Jerry has helped me in two different ways. Jerry was my first driver and helped me initially get started with RPS. And then when I bought Jerry out, he helped me again because I was able to secure his 5 routes. I got 5 more bid routes that way, and I was able to expand the business even more. And you know, these are the things that we have done and have enjoyed doing it. And so it kind of gives you a little more perspective of what I did in my business, and like I've told you in the past, how I bought up different contractors, and this is one of them. You're looking at him; he's over there driving away right now.
Yeah, I gotta watch this.
You gotta watch
I-85 traffic.
Yeah, you watch I-85 traffic.
I don't
Yeah,
want to get run over by a tractor.
yeah. I'll show them where we're going. Yeah, here we're on I-85 here, headed to Charlotte, and you wouldn't think it would be bumper to bumper traffic on a Saturday morning, but it is.
I'm kind of scared of running around these old big trucks.
These old big trucks scaring you now, and a
You're
Toyota.
not in it. It's a different story than riding in a Toyota.
Yeah, when you're driving a Toyota, it's a lot different than when you're driving a big truck.
I'd rather be pulling doubles than you.
Yeah, doubles are fine. Doubles are fine.
Whatever.
Yeah, but anyway, here we are headed down to Charlotte. Get my Napa hat out of the way there a little bit. So yeah, here Saturday morning on I-85, headed to the race traffic. I guess we'll probably get a little race traffic. NHRA doesn't bring in as much, I don't think. I don't know. We'll see when we get down there. It's not as much traffic as the NASCAR races. The NASCAR races will be down in Charlotte in about 3 weeks, I think. So
Figure out a way when we get up there, we can get off 85 and go around this back road or something.
no, we can just go straight in. It's pretty good straight in. I got so many lanes down there now. I tell you what, you might want to do, Jerry, is hit 485 down here. I believe 485, run it around and come in on the backside of Bruton Smith Boulevard.
Let's see.
All right. Yeah, you might want to do that, and that way would be straight in onto the race traffic, or we could go on down to Popular Tent and go in if you want to.
Run around 485.
Yeah, let's hit 480. Let's go 85, 485, and then I want one of my trucks. There, just passed one of my trucks, and that was Ira. Headed out.
Met him there.
Yeah, I just met him there. That's one of my trucks headed down to Georgia. We just passed. But anyway, getting back on the trucking end of it. Let me turn this camera back around. Whoa, that scares people. Right there on top of me. Now I got it forward facing again. Jerry doesn't understand what we're doing live here.
No, I don't know whether I like this or not.
You don't know if you like it or not. See, I'm gonna make you a YouTube star, Jerry. Look at there.
I think I want to be a YouTube.
You don't want to be a YouTube star?
No.
Well, at this point, I don't have that many viewers, so you're not a star yet.
Okay.
You're mainly talking to a camera.
I got a little too old to become a star.
Yeah, we don't want all those starlets after you, do we? I mean, they'll look at that person there and they go, "Wow, look at that handsome 70."
I'm just glad to be around, you know.
Yep, that's right. You're like me. You're glad to be on this side of the daisies, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that's the way to look at it too. But anyway, getting back to the see, this is what I don't like. I do this video, Jerry, and I go, man, my double chin's terrible. I got to lose some weight. Got a turkey neck there, hadn't we?
Oh, no. I don't know, really. I haven't paid attention to it.
Yeah. Anyway, back at the story here, as us truckers ride down the road with trucks all around us, but we're in a Toyota. What is this? Camry? Corolla.
Yeah.
And then Toyota Corolla. Headed down to the racetrack.
Saving money on gas.
Saving money on gas. 35 miles to the gallon.
Anywhere from 33 to, I have got 39 one a few times.
Yeah, I've got 39.
35, 6, something like that.
It says your maintenance something's on, Jerry.
Oh yeah.
You avoid those little lights that come on, don't you?
I don't know how to turn it off.
You don't know how to turn it off. You had to get you one of those.
I
Had to get you a scanner to turn it off, won't you? Anyway, I'll put us back out here on view. Getting back to what we were talking about, FedEx has been pretty good for Jerry and myself. I've been, like I said,
it was a good experience.
It's a good experience. Jerry had, how many years did you have in it? 25 total. You had 25 total.
I started in 88,
yeah.
13,
yeah. 25 total. 25 total for him, and
we covered a lot of roads.
And I'm on my 32nd year now, and it's been pretty good. And Jerry and I, like I said, we've been friends for 50 years now, I guess, since 67, 68. And yeah, so we've been friends for about 50 years.
We were doing the tractor trailers at Carolina Freight.
Oh yeah, we were abusing the tractor trailers.
No, we didn't abuse them.
Well, I didn't abuse them. I learned to do, let's say that we did some creative driving as switchers. As yard switchers.
Switchers and hookup guys.
Switchers and hookup, yeah.
Getting them ready to go.
Yeah, we learned to be creative drivers. I used to tell people, I said that, and we can tell it now, Carolina Freight's out of business. We didn't put them out of business.
No, we didn't.
But we used to, I know we had the yard switchers, and when we got up to those B model Max, they had some power. They were a lot more powerful.
They didn't steer too good, though.
No, they didn't steer good. They were tough on steering. It was.
Did better if you greased the ball joints. I mean the kingpins.
Well, they actually.
They didn't have power steering.
Well, they didn't have. Did they not?
No.
No, that's right. They didn't, did they? I couldn't remember. But they did something with the steering box that it would turn more to the left than it would to the right, so we could jack the trailers in there better. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, because they wouldn't cut short.
They had it. They wanted.
I know what they did.
What they do?
They went in behind the kingpin. There was a bolt sticking out there. And they
shortened the length.
They adjusted in where the wheels would cut.
Right. But anyway, that's the way they used to do things back in the 60s and 70s. I mean, we worked with a yard switcher that was not like you see the switchers now. I mean, these boys got it made in these automatic, hydraulic yard switchers. That's not what we grew up on. The first yard switchers we had down there were those old Mustang Whites, yeah.
Mustang White.
With a six-cylinder flathead. It was gas too. It wasn't even diesel, was it? It was an old gas engine, but it
was built about 1947.
Yeah, about 40. But then they upgraded to our B model Max. That's the one I drove more of. Yeah, there goes another FedEx around. But they drove more with the B model Max than we did with the Mustangs. And the B models had a
Mustang Whites. It's an old.
Yeah. Mustang Whites. It's a white, which was also. That was actually bought out by Freightliner years later. White was. It used to be a white Freightliner, but back then they used to call them. I mean, we're talking old vehicles, old stuff there. But the B models, B61s, now they were a stout truck. And what they did, they shortened the frame down, and then they took out the back window. They took out the back window.
What about that?
Yeah. They took out the back window and actually expanded it and made it lower so we could reach our arm from our seat back to
the back window.
Through the back window, and hook the hose. They shortened it up that much so we didn't even have to get out of our seat, which is pretty neat when you think about it. But in today's term, OSHA wouldn't let them do that anymore because we were really close on the cab, with the cab and the front of the trailer. But they figured it out and they knew how to do it. And we were running an airbag system as opposed to hydraulic too. So it was fast.
Well, the first ones had a scissor unit under there. It
was scissor.
One hydraulic cylinder.
But they switched it to the air over.
Yeah, later on.
Later they did the airbag system, and that airbag system, boy, it was fast. But let me explain to you, the airbag system was loud too. So you've got to imagine that though it was like anybody that's ever been into a shop that has a tire changer, that's exactly how it sounds, where it goes shh. Well, that's what this did every time, you know, we released the air to drop that trailer down. That's what we were hearing. Now, it wasn't so noisy going up, but it was loud going down because you were exhausting 150 pounds or more. I don't know how much air pressure. Well, I guess we had 150 pounds, but it was a lot of volume of air. Let's put it that way. But they had it figured out how they could use that airbag system, and very, very quick system. But like I said, I think OSHA and everything else made them switch over. But Jerry and I grew up, or were driving in that era. We were driving a V61 Mac with the back window cut out and a duplex transmission. Now,
yeah, it was.
Yes, well, a couple of them didn't. They'd taken out the high-low, but most of them they kept the duplex as it was. Some of them they didn't want us to, so they'd take the
B model V61 Max.
Yeah, V61 Max. But they were stout. They would get the job done, and that's
rugged.
Oh, they're as rugged as they could be. And that's one reason that once I got into the trucking business, I wanted to get some Mack trucks because I knew how tough those Mack trucks were. I mean, I looked at them, I said, if they can run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop, and unless something happened that we had to put them in the shop, they were not in the shop. They might have been in, you know, they'd go in for their maintenance service and everything, but boy, if we didn't tear up anything on the switcher, that jockey, it stayed in there. I mean, like I said, they'd take it in and change oil occasionally, but you know, they had enough spares that we'd just jump out of one into another.
We had to take them up, especially.
Yeah.
Those kingpins grease so we could be able to turn the wheel.
Yeah. If you got one that wouldn't, like I said, like Jerry's saying,
drive grease and try to turn the wheel without power steering.
Without power steering, if it got cold, whatever. Yeah. It was a different day, a different time, that's for sure. But you know, talking about that, it was a good learning time. I mean, but this is old school. Drivers today, they have got it made compared to what we had back then. I mean, that was a rough ride. And of course, like I was telling you about the airbag before, that's the reason I wear hearing aids on both ears, because it was detrimental to my hearing. I didn't realize it. When I was 18 years old, I didn't think anything about it. I didn't wear earplugs. Jerry didn't wear earplugs. Jerry's probably half deaf too. Just
if I got any hearing loss, it come from race cars.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Race cars.
That's what I'm saying. You probably got it. Mine evidently got worse. I prefer
down here to that Z-Max.
Yeah, we're now.
Have to wear the
we got earplugs. Yeah, I got in hearing aids, but I'm gonna have to wear my earplugs when we get down here probably. But
we're not going to.
Just get in the middle lane. You're gonna have to go all the way down to Mallard Creek Road. We'll run down to Mallard Creek and then we go to the back side. Do you want to go all the way over toward Poplar 10 and go back around, or do you want to challenge it and run through Bruton Smith?
I don't know.
Well, we can do two.
We can stay on this road.
We can stay on 485 to 85 again if you want to, and then get on the 85 traffic trying to get off at Bruton Smith, or we can go the back way on Mallard Creek and then hit Bruton Smith Boulevard all the way back up to the back. It depends on which way you want to do it, which way you want to challenge it. Or we can get back on, stay on 485
No, I've never been
and go down to 20. You want to go down to 29? You want to go down to 29 and head up that way?
We can just go up 85 and jump off.
All right, let's hit it and go back up 85 then. Don't you just love these people? We're doing you're doing 70. Yeah, you're doing.
I need to pick up the speed a little
Yeah,
bit. I guess.
yeah. This
old people go slow.
70-mile-an-hour speed limit, but that means that.
I was running 68.
Well, that gives these guys to 85,
Yeah,
80 or
some of them
85
are
miles.
running 80, 85.
Yep,
They sit by you like you're 70.
that's right. But anyway, as we were talking about the old trucking and everything, Jerry and I, like I said, we're just relaxed. We're enjoying life now. Jerry, through his, we'll say you retired from FedEx, but you're still in business. He's still busy as everything, but he sold off his FedEx to me, and it's done well for me in the past 5 or 6 years that I've had it. We've been able to expand those runs and do pretty good. It's enabled me to keep a few more mechanics and everything, and that's the key to it. I mean, you've got to you get to a certain level, and the way I kind of gear it, I hire one mechanic for every 7 trucks that I own, and and right now I've got 5 full-time mechanics, and we're able to keep our fleet maintained pretty good that way.
That's something you have to do.
Yeah, it's just something you have to do. I mean, it's
You gotta keep them trucks, keep them up.
well, preventative maintenance is the key. I mean, I don't care if you buy a brand new one or if you, and actually, especially these brand new ones. These new ones they're a trip because you've got all this DEF and all this exhaust problems that you're going to have.
All loaded with emission.
Yeah, EGR. When the government got into the trucking business big time, they started making us. I think it was in 2003 or 4. They started making us put the manufacturer said to start putting EGR coolers on all these trucks. It changed everything dramatically. And then in 2008, when they started making them put the regen system on, it's killed the trucking business in some aspects. A lot of people still want to buy the big large cars, which Jerry still has a few. How many you got of those large cars? Don't you want to sell some at my sale? No. Okay, Jerry likes his large cars. He's got several.
Not a couple.
Couple. I'll say several, Jerry. Jerry's close to, he keeps hitting me on my my leg here because he don't want me to expand on what he has. We'll say Jerry has got his own thing. I won't go into that until another time unless he gives me permission. If I don't get permission, I won't expound on it. But the trucking business has been good for Jerry and myself both. I mean, like I said, we both have about a 40 to 50 year career within trucking. I mean, Jerry started on it, and he was.
I started in 1965.
You started in '65, and I started in '67.
Got on Carolina.
Yeah. Is that when you got hired in '65?
I started extra on the dock. That's when I
learned the yard.
Trucks.
Yeah, now Jerry and I did the same path, basically. We both started. I started on the dock in '67. Jerry started in '65. We both worked on the dock, and then we learned how to be yard switchers. And
I'd already drove the truck in 1960.
yeah, you'd driven for what, Goodnight Brothers or
Well,
who was it?
told me
Yeah, he
Charlotte.
yeah he was a truck driver prior to that, and then
Drove trucks.
what drove? Well, you were meat delivery and what was it? Goodnight Brothers? Is that what you was with?
No.
Wasn't
well,
good.
I did. But
You
I
did
was
Goodnight
with
Brothers too.
John
Okay.
Burrell meat.
Okay.
Hauled meat out of Charlotte. Sides of beef.
Yeah.
Carrying beef. Delivering, carrying, unloading beef that come out from the Tumba Highway.
Yeah.
The box car loaded on your truck,
Took it out to the customers.
Columbia, South Carolina,
Yeah.
different places.
But anyway, we both have a little bit of diverse background on that, and we enjoyed trucking. Has been good for us, been good for both of us, and like I've said in the past, Cherryville was a major hub, believe it or not. Our little small town of about 5,200 people was a major hub for a trucking
Miles
trucking
an hour down
company.
the ramp,
Yeah,
at least.
doing now.
You run over 80 miles an hour down the ramp. coming
Down the
up
ramp.
red light.
I know it. We're among the Charlotte crazies here. But like I said, Cherryville, North Carolina, there were a couple of major hubs in and around this area. Got big with the textile industry back in the 30s and 40s and early 50s and everything. And Carolina Freight was one. There were a lot of textile mills in the area. Acres Motor Line was another one, and then Johnson Motor Lines was a big one way back then. They were in Charlotte. Mason-Dixon was a big one, and there was Pilot. That's what I was trying to think. Pilot, not Pilot truck stops, but there used to be a Pilot truck lines.
Yeah.
Pilot, they were big in Charlotte.
You had
Who else? McLean Trucking was another big one at that time. Now all these, as I speak about these were old. These were the major trucking lines all across the United States back in the early days of trucking, and we can remember those. Old Dominion, of course, Old Dominion's still around.
Old people remember.
Yeah, old people will remember. The young truckers won't
We're not
remember.
old compared to some people.
No, we're not. I didn't say we were too old.
I know a guy that's 97 years old.
Yeah, you're gonna
He
make
just got his driver's license renewed. That'll last him a good while.
Yeah, that's
5
right.
years,
Yeah,
or at least 5.
that's
He's
right.
tickled to death. No, not to death. He's tickled. He's tickled to get his new license.
Who's that?
97.
Who's 97?
I ain't gonna tell him.
And he's got his driver's license
He's a
again?
fella that
A good fellow, friend of yours?
no, friend of me and other people.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah. If he's 97 and still driving, well, that's like my neighbor up there. That's Miles Gant. I tell Miles every time I see him, he's my hero. He's 95 and still drives and still works out in his yard like nobody's business. He was actually down on when I bought the property from Bob Gatsa. He was down there helping pull up fence posts last year, and him 94 years old at the time. And
My wife's uncle, mother's brother.
yeah,
No, he married brother-in-law. Wife's
well, it's good.
he married his wife's, my wife's uncle.
I can't follow the
He's
tree.
90, about 94, and he's still driving.
Yeah, you expound on the family
I couldn't
tree.
think what I was doing coming
Yeah.
up with there.
Yeah. Anyway, a relative. Let's just put it that way. A relative. Yeah. I can't figure out
He had a lot of experience. So you know what he did?
what's that.
He was retired colonel out
A retired colonel out of the.
of the pilot.
Oh, he was a pilot. Yeah,
Made
he does.
450 to 500 landings on aircraft carriers in World War II and Korean War.
Yeah, that's something.
Pretty good pilot.
I'd say so if you did 450 flights and everything.
455.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of tales he can tell people.
Oh, I bet so. I bet so. Well, anyway, back to the trucking. We got off on a tangent, I know it. If they want to hear it, they'll listen to it. If they don't, they don't. That's what life's all about, Jerry. We tell a story. If you want to hear our story, you can listen. If you don't want to hear our story, hop off. That's what it's all about.
You know, me riding while you're talking, I may miss the exit.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm watching exit. No, we do not want to make the 485 loop. That'll be 80 miles. I don't know how far it is around 480. It's a long piece. I bet it is. I bet it's close to 80 to 100 miles all the way around Charlotte if you do the complete loop. It's a piece, I know that. Especially this backside from over there where 85 comes back in, all the way back around to 77. God, that feels like that takes forever to go around that side, that southern side. That's a long part of the loop. I know when we go to Monroe, you sometimes think it's quicker hitting 485 and going 485 around till you get there, and I've done that, and I've challenged myself to think, you know, now that they've got the freeway through there, that it might be quicker to just go down 85 and hit not Wilkerson, what am I thinking of? 74 and then Independence, and then run Independence all the way down. That seems to be quick sometimes. But you want off Mallet Creek or you want to go down to 85? This will take us to the backside, Jerry. You make the quick decision. You're going to take 85? Okay, well, let's take it all the way to 85. Yeah. It shouldn't be backed up too bad, hopefully.
Never know.
We will find out. The main thing is I want to get down there and get something good to eat, because we got the hospitality suite for Napa, and I want the food. I'll let you go out and meet John Forsh and all of them. And
you don't know me, you know?
No, and then Ron Capps. Ron Capps, maybe, I don't know, maybe Ron will get hungry and he'll be up in the hospitality suite. You've met, you know who Ron Capps? You know, Ron Capps runs the Napa. He runs the Napa race.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which way we going?
Well, go to Greensboro, Jerry. It says
Next one.
Yeah, right up here. Get up here on the next, or you can run on the railroad track there if you want to. On the rumble strips. No, you're on the right one. You're on the right one, Jerry. If you're over there, it goes Spartanburg, back this way, back to Greensboro. Let me flip the camera around. I'll let the people see where we're at. We're right here at 85 and we're off 485 back on 85. Now this is the one that, this will give you a thrill going around, because if you had your Corvette and then going down through here, Jerry, you'd be.
It'd handle a little bit better than this.
That's what it would handle. You should have come down to the Corvette day they had the other day. Did you see that?
They let you go out on the track.
Yeah, a couple of my friends did that. Jim Beam did that. He brought his new. He's got a fairly new Corvette, and he took it down here.
Let you go.
Well, he got up to 120. He said. I mean, he did as fast as he wanted to, and they were letting him run the road course too. They were.
I wouldn't want to wear my tires down.
Well, no, you still got the tits on your car. You could have brought your older one at 24. Is it 20? No, you got 2004 in it.
Yeah.
The oldest one's a 2004.
Yeah.
It's got how many miles on it?
5,000.
Have you got 5,000 on it now? Oh, you're about to wear it out.
5,400, I think.
Bought it new, it's got 5,000 miles on it. But anyway, yeah, next time they do that, you ought to try to do that, Jerry. Let me get back up here, people. I was letting people see.
I'd rather bring the 11,
People.
15.
Do what now?
I'd rather bring the 15.
Rather bring the 15. Well, the 4 is an automatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other two are 6 speeds.
The 11's a 6-speed, that's 15's a 7-speed.
Getting that right lane.
Right lane?
Yep. Yep.
I can't.
Well, you can after this car lets you in.
We'll get in there in a minute.
Or these two. Now you can get in.
We're here, right?
Yep. Now we're getting off here on Bruton Smith Boulevard.
Wasn't backing up, was it?
No, not too bad.
Turn right up here.
Yeah. Yeah, just turn right up here. You can stay in this lane, Jerry. You don't have to worry about that. And that's turn lane
This
too.
one?
Yeah, that's turn lane also. Since we're going to be turning left, so you might as well stay in this one.
Do you know where to go?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know how close we can get in there. I don't know.
Don't matter as long as we get.
Nah, we'll get to the track. We'll make it to the track. I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how close we'll get. We can. Now this is where over here at Hendrick Motorsports is where we have our Napa corporate meetings. Anyway.
Do you?
Oh yeah, that's where we over at Papa Joe Hendrick's meeting room over there. It's where we have our Napa meetings every month. Pretty neat, and they feed us well. Well, that's what Barbara told me. She said that's the reason you want to go today, because you know how good of a spread they lay out.
Here's the jam, man.
Yeah, here's where we're going to get.
Bad, though.
It's not too bad. That's where the slowdown's going to be over here on Bruton Smith. We probably did good by getting off there. Well, there's all the advertisements, I guess. They're advertising.
This was the quickest way to come.
Yeah, it's probably.
Turn here.
No, gosh, no. We're a good piece from it yet, Jerry. Not unless you want to go to Hooters. You can go down and go to KFC and Five Guys and Hooters, other places. There's the big Hendrick Motorsports.
Right.
Well, I mean Hendrick. Well, that's the Hendrick
Over
complex up on the right. Yeah, you turn in there, it goes way back in there, right where the.
What else you got in there?
Oh golly, that's where all the shops are and everything. That's where Landon.
I don't turn here, do I?
No, you still stay on it. Yeah, he's got Hendricks on both sides here. This is Rick Hendricks got smart and bought all this land up years ago and built all this around here. He, smart man. It's the reason he's got a lot of dealerships, a lot of money. Yeah.
I think we're getting a little bit of a coming.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of backup here. People going to the track. It is what it is. Yeah, Hendrick owns all these dealerships. He owns the BMW dealerships and the Mercedes and the Toyota and Jeep, Dodge, everything you can think of down through here. There's Hendrick Volkswagen. See there?
What don't he have?
I don't know. I don't know what dealership he doesn't have. I mean,
Good.
he's done real good.
Really good.
Yeah, real good. But he's built his own mega complex down here with, like I said, with all the dealerships and all the racing shops and everything back there. I mean, it's hard to imagine that he's amassed all this. Okay, there's parking down there. We're probably gonna have to park in the old. Yeah, I guess we'll park where they tell us to park. I mean, that's Z-Max is off to the left, and enter at entrance TRW NHRA event parking. So enter at.
Which lane we need to be in?
I don't know, Jerry. I don't know if we're probably going to have to take a shuttle or walk across. I don't know if they've got a shuttle bus like.
Right-hand lane.
Yeah, we can. Just go ahead and get in the right-hand lane, and we'll go over here to the parking like what they do for the Charlotte NASCAR races. Looks like that's where they're going to probably put us anyway. We're going to have to walk. We're going to have to walk a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's fine. The doctor says I need to walk anyway. I need to get my exercise. I got to go to the doctor Monday. I got to go to 2 doctors, the urologist and then my regular doctor. I had some blood work done the other day, and my cholesterol's a little bit too high, and my A1C is what I've let it slip up a little bit too high. Is your A1C pretty good?
I don't know what it is.
You don't even know what it is. That's why they check for diabetes. You know.
So far, I'm all right on the sugar.
You're all right on your sugar. Yeah.
Hope it stays that way.
Yep. That's critical. That's critical. Let me get the people are gonna holler at me. Go, put that camera back up there. Of course, they're not seeing anything. Let me flip it back around. Not see anything but the traffic.
You show them the traffic.
Well, they can see us talking. You're more entertaining, Jerry.
No, I'm not much of
See,
doing this.
wave at them, Jerry.
Got to keep my eyes on the road.
Keep your eyes on the road, yeah.
That's what I was kind of getting off back there a while ago when I'm about to get in the wrong lane.
Yeah. Just keep our
That's
eyes.
what you're doing.
Yep.
You don't, you get run over and killed.
Well, it is. You don't want to be a distracted driver. That is something that's happening more and more with all these people using.
Watch everybody that
Every-
moves around.
People driving with cell phones are tough, and that's what a lot of people are doing right now. It's not safe at all. Let me see if I can reach down here and get that other cell phone. Speaking of that, it's falling down. Oh God, it's underneath the seat now. If somebody calls me, I'm gonna be screwed. That's the. I didn't bring my charger either. Dadgummit. I may have to. I didn't bring either one. That's something crazy I didn't do. Well, I tell you what, because I haven't got my charger, I better get off of this thing, because I'm gonna be using up bandwidth and everything else. But I'll turn it around and show.
Turn it in right up here.
Yep. Let everybody see we're down here at C-Max Dragway.
Right where the blue lights are.
Yep.
Turn it in.
If you can see up in front of us. It's in Z-Max Concord. Down here from there's Tom Johnson's Camping Center. And off in the background you can see the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I've never been to the Z-Max.
You've never been to the Z-Max race? Well,
I've seen it on TV though.
yeah.
Looks like
Actually,
before those top fuels take off, it looks like it might be a little loud.
I would say it is. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be in a controlled environment and it won't kill us. We'll see. All right. Well, I'm going to get off and talk to people later. See ya.